Welcome, viewer. The year is 1455 and England, that damp, squabbling island, is about to descend into a full-blown aristocratic punch-up disguised as politics. Forget Game of Thrones. This is the source material. And it starts with omens, a rain of blood, overflowing holy wells, and, my personal favourite, a giant seacock with a red beard seen strutting out of the waves near Weymouth. Clearly, even the poultry was trying to escape what was coming. Now, imagine a royal family so interbred that they made a pack of pedigree pugs look genetically diverse. On one side, the House of Lancaster, descended from John of Gaunt, son of Edward III, and on the other, the House of York, descended from Edward III's other son. But rather than discuss it over tea and passive aggression, they opted for war, because nothing says family drama like murdering your cousins. Let's meet our key player, Richard, Duke of York. Smart, ambitious, and constantly being treated like a particularly dangerous intern by King Henry VI. A monarch so lacking in spine, he made blancmange look assertive. After the king's mental breakdown, likely brought on by being King of England, York took over as protector. But as soon as Henry could string together a sentence and vaguely recognize furniture again, he was back in charge. Bad idea. So York rallied the support of the Nevilles, a northern family with a hobby for dynastic bloodshed, and marched on London. His slogan, not "down with the king because that's treason." No, just down with the king's friends. Very subtle, very English. Enter the First Battle of St. Albans, short, sharp, and violent. Think of it as a very bloody job interview. York's side kills Somerset, wounds the king, and then, very politely, says, "Your Majesty, we're your loyal servant. Please ignore the corpses." And what does Henry do? He says thank you, accepts his crown back, and lets York escort him to London like a deer being escorted back into the lion enclosure. But Henry, poor lamb, soon relapses into mental confusion again, leaving York to juggle the Scots, the French, and the politics of a realm on the brink. Unfortunately for him, Queen Margaret of Anjou has other plans. Oh yes, Margaret. A woman so forceful she could probably intimidate a cannon into firing itself. She builds her own power base in Coventry, avoids London like it's full of rats and tax collectors, and essentially takes over. Her goal? Protect her son, Prince Edward, and eliminate York. Politely, of course. Eventually, Margaret calls a council and leaves York off the guest list. So naturally, he declares war. Again. Cue Dead Man's Den, a cheerful little battlefield where 2,000 Englishmen kill each other over whose rich family gets to wear the shiny hat. York flees to Ireland. Warwick goes to Calais. Their lands are seized. They're traitors now. You'd think that's the end. In 1460, Warwick returns, this time claiming they just want to rescue the king. Nothing sinister, just a bit of light kidnapping. At the Battle of Northampton, Warwick slaughters Henry's court, kidnaps the king again, and marches him back to London like a reluctant luggage item. Enter Richard of York, fresh from Ireland, swaggering into Parliament, sword drawn, hand on the throne, and basically saying, "Mine now." The nobles? Stunned silence. Even they thought that was a bit much. Eventually a compromise is reached. Henry keeps the crown, but York gets to inherit it. That's right. Margaret's son, the actual prince, is disinherited. Imagine telling your 7-year-old, "You'll understand, darling, Uncle Richard just wants it more." Margaret is now furious. She rallies the north, raises a huge army, and absolutely wrecks York and Salisbury at Wakefield. York's head is shoved on a spike, paper crown and all, with a helpful sign that says, "Let York overlook the town of York." Meanwhile, the Tudors appear. Yes, those Tudors. Owen Tudor gets captured, decapitated, and his head is combed by a madwoman, because medieval England didn't do subtlety. It did drama. Margaret continues her southward rampage, pillaging as she goes. London slams its gates shut and says, "No thanks." Back comes Edward of March, York's 18-year-old son, 6'4", built like a battering ram, and very much done with everyone's nonsense. He wins a key victory at Mortimer's Cross. Sees a parhelion, that's a weird three-sun effect in the sky, and decides it's a sign that he, Edward, is the chosen one. As omens go, it's very theatrical. He enters London to cheers, is basically crowned by public enthusiasm, and becomes King Edward IV. Meanwhile, Henry VI, still alive, still technically king, wanders around muttering, "I follow the Lords, I never know why." Because yes, for a while, England had two kings. One tall, youthful and competent. The other confused, musical and recently rescued from sitting under a tree. And it all leads to Towton, 1461. The bloodiest battle on English soil. 50,000 men fight in a blizzard and 12,000 plus never walk off the field. Henry, Margaret and little Prince Edward flee to Scotland, tails firmly between their royal legs. Edward IV? Crowned, triumphant and shockingly well dressed. The Burgundian ambassador calls him the finest man he's ever seen, which is European for he could probably pull off chainmail and velvet. But here's the twist. Henry VI is still alive, still the anointed king, still claiming the crown. And thus begins the real drama. Two kings, one throne, no Netflix deal, no weird internet video. So, viewer, what did we learn today? We learned that omens of doom in medieval England meant seriously bad weather and worse decisions. That civil war was basically aristocratic football hooliganism, but with swords. And that if you leave two branches of the same royal tree alone for too long, they'll set the whole forest on fire. Oh, and that England once had two kings at once, because one just wasn't confusing enough. Follow for more history drenched in sarcasm and dread.